So, when can you actually start touring homes? So, last week we talked a lot about the first meeting that you're going to have with the lender and getting ready for that first meeting with the lender. We talked a little bit about the credit, income, and assets that you want to have an idea about because those are the three things that the lender is going to be reviewing with you during that first meeting. Now, you're also going to want to start taking a look at homes. You want to say actually going out and seeing these things in person, but it might be too soon. And here's why. So until we know how much you are pre-approved for, it doesn't make sense to start touring homes. And here's why. I'll tell you a quick story. What if we went out and started taking a look at $400,000 homes? We saw a 380, a 395, a 405, and a 410. And you really liked all of them. You know, there were two that you were like, okay. And then there were two that you said, okay, I really like these. Like, let's start pursuing the next steps. I could see myself. And then there was one that you really liked. Okay. So then you say, all right, now let's get pre-approved. Great. Put you in touch with the lender. They run your credit, income, and assets. They go through underwriting and they say, hey, based on your income, based on the monthly payment and budget that you'd like to be around and what your finances allow, the max pre-approval that we're going to be able to give you is 325. So what happens? Well, you just got your hopes up and the expectation of a $400,000 home, yet you can only afford 325. I don't care if I show you the nicest $325,000 house after that. You're not going to like it because your expectations have been set up around that $400,000 mark. The single biggest thing that we have to overcome as a realtor-client relationship is misaligned expectations from the onset because we went and started shopping without a pre-approval. So if you've ever contacted a realtor and you say, hey, I just want to go see this house. They said, hey, do you have a pre-approval? You're like, no, I want to go see the house. And if I like it, I'll go get pre-approved. And the agent says, well, I'm not going to show it to you unless you're pre-approved. And you're like, well, this is annoying. I get it. As a consumer, you look at that and you say, yes, that is kind of annoying. But also remember that agent is thinking this way of saying, I don't want to get this person into a house with us walking this house, get all their hopes up on this, again, $400,000 house when all they might be able to afford is 325, right? So that part is really tricky to navigate from an agent to a client, especially if it's, you're just going on Zillow or Realtor.com or something like that, and you're clicking, hey, I want to see this house. And the first agent that contacts you says, well, I can't show it to you unless you pre-approve. And you're like, what is this bait and switch? Now, some agents, and I've done this in my past, I'll show you one house without a pre-approval. A lot of times, because that may be just the first time we're meeting. And this is just a first meeting at something you kind of like so that we can have the conversation to then say, hey, before we go out and start touring a whole lot of other homes, let me explain the process. Let me explain that, you need to get pre-approved. We need to start building your search and things like that. And then we can start touring homes. So what can you do right now if you don't have your pre-approval? Well, this is where we really get to start uncovering what is it about the home that you're looking for that you're going to want. Is it a single family home? Are you open to townhomes and condos? Do you need 2 beds minimum, 3 beds minimum? Do you need an office space? Are you going to need a basement? Do you need a fenced in backyard? Do you need a garage? Does it have to be 1 car or 2 car? Are there any other items about the house that you need to have? Are there certain areas, do you have to be in a certain town for school districts? Or are you just trying to get within about 30 minutes of a commute to your job? Do you want to be within 15 minutes of the city? Do you want to be close to a PATCO train station, right? We go down this list of questions. So here's the concern that I have when a lot of buyers enter the search. It's actually 2 different problems, but both kind of in the same vein. One is they have too much criteria, and the other is they have not enough criteria. So let's highlight the issues of both of those, right? The first one is somebody who has too much criteria. They say, I'm only going to be in this town. I'm only going to be in this area of the town. And I want this price. I want these beds and baths. I want this basement. And we go in and we say, hey, based on what you're putting down, in the past 3 years, only 2 of the homes have sold that actually met all that criteria out of a possible 79 homes in that area that you're talking about. Only 2 in the past 3 years have sold with that criteria. So if that truly is all in the must-have column, not just some once disguised as a must-have, then expect to wait maybe a year and a half before there'll even be a listing that shows up on the market that matches your criteria. And guess what? You're not the only one looking for that house. There will be a lot of other buyers and you may have to overbid and things like that. So that can be the first one that really hurts a search, is if you have too much criteria or you're saying wants are actually must-haves. Must-haves are must-have. Wants are fluid. So what I would say is definitely be uncompromising about those must-haves, but also be realistic about them and then be fluid about the wants. there are plenty of buyers that I've helped who had an idea of what they wanted. We get in, we open their criteria up a little bit. They end up going to the town right next to the town they wanted. They get all the same perks with less taxes, a better property value, and double the amenities that they thought they were going to have because they were so pigeonholed in just this one area. So that can be difficult if you have too much criteria. The opposite is not enough criteria. I've met with people that say, hey, I'm willing to buy all the way out to King of Prussia, down into Delaware. I'll do all of South Jersey from Vineland out to 206, and I'll go all the way north up to Trenton. And I'm open for anything around $300,000 as long as it's a good deal. While there are a lot of homes in there, there's also too many homes that fill in there. And here's the issue with that part. Because you have so many options, you are never going to be committed enough to one house to actually write the offer that you're going to have to win that bid. At the time of recording this video, it is still a competitive market in South Jersey. It has been for a while, and it likely will be for a while. So I don't think this advice is going to go out of style anytime soon. You have to be committed to a house, and you're going to have to put some terms together that might even at the time make you a touch uncomfortable because it might have been a little bit more priced than you thought. You may have not been able to get that seller concession that you wanted. There may have been some inspection terms that you waived to be able to get this house. You got to go all in for it. You got to burn the boats, as they say, right? You got to commit to this with no looking back. But if you could see yourself in 3 different states across like 40 different counties in over 250 zip codes, you're going to say, oh, I'm not going to go over asking price on that because there's 30 other houses that I like. You're right. And with the other 30 houses that you're going to see, you're going to run into the same thing. Oh, well, I'm not going to go up to there. There's 29 other houses. Oh, I'm not going to go up to there. There's 28 other houses. At a certain point, you haven't done enough thinking about what you actually want out of a house. So here would be my challenge to the person who has not enough criteria. Start going down some more of the qualitative sides of life. What are some areas of interest that you like to go to regularly? Are you a city person or not? Do you want to have access to the city or not? Do you want to be able to get down the shore readily? Is there a grandma's house or a relative's house that you like to go to? Is there a friend that you have a good relationship with and you want to continue that relationship? Do you want to be more of a downtown feel? Do you want to be more of a suburban feel? Do you want a little bit more land or a little bit less land? We can start to use some of these other things to at least maybe narrow it down or at least cancel some areas out in order to make the search a little bit more realistic. If your result is yielding more than 250 results, your search is too big. And if your search is yielding less than 20 results, your search is too small. So that would be my general guideline in order to kind of balance your search criteria to make sure that, again, you're being unwavering yet realistic about those must-haves, but you're being fluid and open to the wants. Because the job of the realtor, especially in this part of the process, is to help you uncover maybe some scenarios that you didn't originally think of because you're not thinking about real estate every single day that might make you just as happy, if not happier, than what you originally came into the search with. So anyway, y'all, that's kind of the wrap up for this video here that we're doing on this one. I'll talk to you on the next video.